ये 75 साल देश बनाता होगा, तब तक बिग 4 को बिग 8 में बदल देंगे और जो बिग 8 होंगे उसमें बिग 4 यही मेरे सामने जो लोग हैं उम्मीदों से होंगे। दोस्तों, ये सपना हम लोगों का होना चाहिए।
Okay. Good morning, dear Chartered Accountants, and welcome to the Chartered's Chat Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, and it's really going to be a very wonderful day. This is Nishchit Shetty, and I'm the host for today. Before we move ahead with today's seminar, I would like to convey something. ICAI has now launched the online process for formation of networking of firms as per networking guidelines approved by the Council last year. The networking tab is available under the firm module in the SSP portal, and the members can now directly apply from the portal for the registration of network. Now, I would like CA Siddharth Dwivedi to have a short introduction for the show.
Thank you, Nishchit. A very warm welcome to all the members. I welcome today's guest, CA Jay Chhaira sir and CA Shweta Jain ma'am, Secretary WIRC. Today, episode 2 is all about ICAI Networking Guidelines. I am sure that today's episode and under the guidance of CA Jay Chhaira sir, members will come to know much. A very warm welcome to all of you. I welcome today's guests, CA Jay Chhaira sir and CA Shweta ma'am, Secretary WIRC. Today's episode is all about ICAI Networking Guidelines. And I'm sure after this episode and under the guidance of CA Jay Chhaira sir, members will come to know much more about the networking and its guidelines. Now I request Nishchit to introduce our guest.
Hello. Our today's speaker, CA Jay Chhaira, is a senior member with admirable credentials, charismatic personality, and immense knowledge. He has several degrees, maybe 29 of them. He has been associated with the ICAI since 1995. He has served as the chairman Surat branch in 2005 and went on becoming the vice chairman WIRC in the year 2012. He is currently serving the third consecutive term in the Central Council. He has held many committees as chairman, such as Professional Development Committee, Student Skill Enrichment Board, Peer Review Board, Committee for Capacity Building of Members in Practice, Committee for Financial Markets, and Investor Protection, etc. He has held many significant positions, such as the President of the Rotary Club 2008, Member of Civil Defence, Government of Gujarat. Owing to his exceptional contributions, he has been awarded by the Governor of Gujarat as the Legend of Surat, by the Health Minister of Gujarat, the Star of Surat, the Member of Parliament as the jewel in the crown, by the Mayor of Surat, Suratna Sitara, and the youth icon by leading newspaper group Dainik Bhaskar. He has been awarded by the President of India for getting first in India in research and also awarded by the Chief Minister of Gujarat for science and research. His approach towards holistic development of an individual and his activities are evident of it. While he is too passionate about finance, reporting, and management accounting, he is equally passionate about piano, drums, photography, and trekking. A state level winner in painting, singing, elocution, and drama, he has acted in many Gujarati dramas and films. He has also participated in the Akshay Kumar International Martial Arts Competition. He is an eloquent speaker, having keen interest in education. He has represented India in various prestigious fora for higher education at Los Angeles, Milan, Guangzhou, Phuket, London, Paris, etc. Currently, he is the Chairman of Board of Studies, Vice Chairman of the Committee of Capital Market, and member of the 28 other committees of ICAI. He is also serving as the Chairman of CPD and Education Committee of the South Asian Federation of Accountants. Welcome to the Chartered Chat Show, Jay Chhaira, sir.
Thank you, Nishchit.
Thank you so much for being with us today. And I hope you like the short joke that we began with. It was just on a note. We were talking about networking today, and we thought, why not start with some black humor, actually, but a very necessary skill that all chartered accountants must have. They should start networking. And we also wanted to bring forth that idea of networking within the guidelines of ICAI. There are many members here today with us, and they would like to know more about what is the networking that ICAI speaks about, also understanding why it is important for us to start networking, and many more questions that will be coming. So we've broken this entire chat show into 3 parts. So the first part will be beginning today. We'll take breaks in between and also ask members to participate in the session. So this will be a very participative. In the first section, we will be talking about the speaker and the subject matter. Okay. So the first question to Jay sir would be, sir, tell us about your story. Why did you choose CA profession? That's the first question, sir. Let us all know about you.
Fine. A very good morning to all of you. Thanks a lot, Nishchit, for this wonderful introduction. I have with me here my good friend and Secretary of WIRC, CA Shweta Jain, CA Dinesh Jain, CA Siddharth Dwivedi, and all my dear friends. Once again, a very good morning to all of you. And first of all, thanks particularly Nishchit and the study circle for providing me this wonderful opportunity. And I must appreciate that they have started this program in some innovative way. And I'm sure keeping that over a period of time will surely enhance the quality of programs in the days to come. Well, when you say, why did I join CA? Let me be very honest, I'm not very sure about it, but from my childhood, I was very interested with numbers, fascinated with numbers. So mathematics was a passion for me. And fortunately, while I was in my school, I had to do job because of some family conditions. And my initial jobs were like job of a typist, where I used to type papers, and from that, some statements being typed, some letters being typed, some reports being typed. Then it was as an accountant. I was doing a job as an accountant, and I found that somehow I found myself good with that. I enjoyed accounting, and let me be very honest about it. Why CA? So while we were too young, well, I am talking nearly more than 3 decades back. More than 3 decades back in Gujarat, people used to say, whenever you ask somebody CA, he would say note छापवानु machine, means note छापने का machine. मतलब सीए बहुत रईस होते हैं, सीए बहुत कमाते हैं, सीए ये ऐसा, मतलब you had heard about it. Now being an accountant, I used to meet some chartered accountants. So that was the point when I decided that I should go into chartered accountancy. And very fortunately, the moment I reached in my 11th standard, CA foundation course was declared. I am talking about 1991. When CA foundation course was declared, prior to that, you had to join CA after graduation. But I had a luxury that I could join CA straight away after 12th. So this is how I started.
Wonderful, sir. Also, you're called the star of Surat. You have 29 degrees. 29. Sir, tell us the time when you decided that you will go and blast into all these degrees, and what is the idea behind it? Why do you do this?
Let me tell you, very honestly, I did not decide upon anything like that. I kept on my journey, and over a period of time, things kept on unfolding. I joined my CA, I was very passionate about it, and while I was studying cost accounting as a subject in CA, I found that this is very interesting. I found it very analytical, and I said, why don't I join CMA also? So I joined CMA, and of course, while I was studying law as a paper in CA, I said that law is something which attracts me. So I joined my LLB. And in the same way, when I saw that finance is something which attracts me, so I joined CFA. So once my CMA was over, then I said in CMA, while I was giving the exams, in most of the books it was like, question taken from CIMA London. So I said, then why should I not do CIMA London? So I joined that, and one by one, I don't think I had any targets like that. I never had any targets, but whatever attracted me, I just joined it, and slowly and gradually it just happened. I can say so.
Wonderful. And will it ever stop? Are you still learning something?
Why should life stop at all? And the thing is that, see, qualifications and all these things is one part of life, right? Now that I have completed my council term for the last 12 years, while I was in council, my total focus was on council. So I reduced my academic pursuits. So whatever the degree count that you are talking about is before joining council. After joining council, I was stagnant. But now that my council term is over, I feel that now I should once again restart and study something better. Why not now learn something about Python or Java? Why not something about AI or machine learning? I'm not very sure how much I'm in position to join it. As of now, it appears that it's interesting. Maybe I'll join it. I find it interesting and I continue with it. Maybe after joining, I say that no, this is not something I like it, and maybe I don't continue. But I have a desire to learn something more on management, something more on finance, something more on technology. And interestingly, when you talk about networking, something more on marketing, which you chartered accountants don't learn. So I think these are some of the things I really want to learn. How I'm going to do it, I'm not sure, but I'll continue.
Lovely. That will surely bring complex to a lot of people here. And I am also looking out for some course to do now, sir. That's really, really very inspiring for all of us. And like there are many fans here who would like to hear more about Jay Chhaira, sir. So, sir, tell me something that who is your role model? Whom do you follow?
Well,
Is there someone with 50 degrees maybe you're following him?
No, it's not like that. Very honestly, degrees and all these things is only one small part of life, right?
Correct.
I've been very passionate about music also, right? While I was in college, I used to sing with all the orchestra of my city. I have my own drums, I have my piano, I have my guitar, I have my mouth organ. So if I look at that, then naturally Kishore Kumar could have been one of my, I can say, favorites. I would not use the word ideal or anything like that, or mentor, because I never met him. But maybe in that case, physical fitness, I'm sure Nishchit, Yogesh, Siddharth, you will agree, is a very important thing. So why not, Bruce Lee being your favorite? In that case, I joined martial arts, and learning martial arts, fortunately I reached into Akshay Kumar International Martial Art Competition. Did not win till today any single title, but at least I participated. So, there are multiple things in life, and there are so many wonderful people, so many wonderful people. So you will learn some few things from different people. Like spirituality is an important part of your life, right? And these days, when I listen to Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudeva, I'm very happy with the way he deals with all the various Indian aspects. So there have been many people. Regarding qualifications or something, I did not see any other person. I did not follow any person. I just felt that I want to do it, and I just did it. No specific mentor for that.
Great, sir. I think you should now book a ticket to the moon, maybe something left there. It's truly, sir, that is very inspiring for all of us. And now we'll touch upon the subject matter. Okay. Networking in general is sounding different from networking that ICAI promotes. What is the difference? What in general people understand networking in a different way? Maybe ICAI is trying to tell them something else. What do you see is the main difference, and how can be networking a form of practice? That's also a question maybe in everybody's mind.
So networking is nowhere new concept. It has come into existence the time we were into existence. We human beings are not independent totally. We are interdependent. And that is the beauty. Somebody is a doctor, somebody is a chartered accountant, somebody is a lawyer, somebody is a teacher, somebody is a dancer, and we all provide services to one another, right? We human beings live in families. Is family not a basic concept of networking? Family itself is a network, right? We live in a society, and that is a network. So let us understand, networking is something very, very natural to human beings. And let us not only think about benefits of networking as only some gains or development of practice. Networking is something natural instinct to us. Networking is a very natural instinct. Cricket team is very much a form of network, right? 11 people playing together. Imagine playing cricket alone. You cannot. Imagine playing volleyball alone. You cannot. So it's a form of networking only. Similarly, think about an orchestra. Is it not a network? Try and play only alone. What will happen? I think this is a simple message each and every person should get. And because we are specifically talking to chartered accountants, I would tell the chartered accountants, please understand you might be the best guitarist, but if you don't network with a good drummer, right? If you don't network with a synthesizer, whatever the person is playing, how do you get that symphony? How do you get the harmony? So what I mean to say is, you might be the best chartered accountant in income tax, but are you going to do GST also? Are you going to do audit also? Statutory audit also? Are you going to do everything? So maybe, today that network is important. But if you really want to differentiate the networking, I think when you talk about network with particular context to networking guidelines of ICAI, which have come up last year. So it is a little formal setup. It's a formal, many a times we join together for some activities. Now, when we do this formally over a long period of time for the business purpose, we term it as partnership. Similarly, I can keep on attending various programs across the country. I meet number of chartered accountants and exchange my ideas, my views, my opinions, share my learning. I get some learning from them, pass on something to them. That is networking, right? That is informal way of networking. Now, Institute is taking it one step ahead. A few chartered accountants coming together and forming a formal network for their mutual benefits. So I think this is the only difference, informal versus formal. Informal does not have any structure, right? There is no specific sharing ratios and like that. There is no specific roles and responsibilities, right? There are no boundaries. You can network today here and network tomorrow there. But in the long run, if you want, then naturally, you have to come together in a formal way, decide upon how you are going to share the returns, who is going to handle what, how is going to be the organization structure. All these things taken together becomes a formal network and networking guidelines that ICAI is coming up with.
I think that is a very interesting metaphor that you gave here, that it's a symphony. You are a good drummer, you're a good guitarist. That point should actually strike to everyone, that we may be good at a particular kind of practice, but if we are together, we could take that practice at another level. And that is the practice as a network that ICI is speaking of. Sir, one question comes to my mind. While I was reading about the networking guidelines, it started off in 2005, in fact, revised later in 2011, now again in 2021. What was the failure that the networks in India are seeing?
So, you would not totally use the concept of failure, like Edison said, that when I try out one way and it does not work out, it does not mean I have failed. It means I have succeeded in understanding that this is not the way it works. So now let me try the second one. Similarly, we will not totally say this is a failure, but the institute tried with the networking guidelines and somehow it did not work. A few reasons. A few reasons. Number one, that majority of our practice is in proprietorship, right? SMPs, mostly proprietorship, or 2 or 3 partners, right? And one of the important thing is that we are too much attached with our own names. Our name should always be there in the firm name. That is one of the issues. We don't want to share our responsibilities. We don't want to share our returns, right? Somehow Nishchit in any case wants his name in the firm. He does not understand that Mr. Ambani is not having his name in Reliance, right? But every chartered accountant primarily wants his name in the firm. So there was one of the things, that identity with self is so strong. Identity with self is so strong, not only with chartered accountants, but any profession. Let it be architects, lawyers, chartered accountants, doctors, what happens? Because they have put in so much efforts to acquire skills, they get identified too much with themselves. And probably they don't understand that by joining together, we can create 1 + 1 = 11. So one of the aspect was fear of loss of identity. That if I merge into a network, my personal identity will be lost. This was actually a fear, and I can say a wrong fear, but was there attachment with your name. There was a fear by many people that maybe if I join network and my clients might be taken over by the network. These were some of the reasons, but more than that, if you go back to 2005, what were the types of practices? Either a chartered accountant was into income tax or audit or both. Not many fields were there. When service tax came up, not many chartered accountants took to service tax. It is only after GST that people have gone in a huge way, particularly youngsters, for GST. Similarly, there was no IBC those days. There was no valuation those days. So what was happening? If it was income tax, if it was audit, a chartered accountant found that he can manage these 2 things. And the practice were of different nature. Complications were not there. There were no IFRS. Nishchit, now can you imagine a chartered accountant being excellent in IFRS, right? And also auditing standards. And maybe if he's doing valuation standards. And then all this change is happening in Companies Act and all the notifications, GST. So that was not the scenario then. The old Companies Act was settled, Income Tax Act was going on. There was hardly anything a chartered accountant was doing in indirect taxes. So what was happening? Somehow they were managing. So they did not feel the need of networking. Probably they did not even understand the benefits of that. That's why it was not a big success. And only a few networks came up, actually less than 100. In 16 years, 16 long years, ICI witnessed less than 100 networks. So that was the reason in 2021, that is the last year, the networking guidelines came up. That was thanks to last year actually. That was thanks to the president and vice president, C. Atul Kumar Gupta and C. R. Niyar Jambusingha. Fortunately, they called me, both of them, and they said that you are a retiring council member, and I am sure you can devote the time and you can handle these networking guidelines We have been trying for 16 years. Nothing is actually happening. But we will give you the responsibility. So fortunately, I was the convener of this group for networking guidelines, and we required 21 long meetings. 21 long meetings to discuss about the guidelines. We came up with some draft structure. We went to council. Council rejected it. We once again came up with 4 meetings. Once again redrafted. Went back to council. Council sent us back that you improve upon these things. Then once again we had 3 meetings, and finally it was approved. So this was a long process. Why network was not working at that time, and even now we found 2 major reasons for it. Number 1, bank audit. People we have felt that if we come into network, our bank audit, which we are getting in individual capacity, will go away. So bank audit as of now, unfortunately, wherever you go in programs, people don't ask you on forensics. People don't ask you on data analytics. People don't ask you how to develop practice. People ask you the first question, what about bank audit? And second is, of course, the work you get from CNAG, right? Tendering and all. So these were the 2 things. People felt that if you go into networking, all these works will go away, which was also a wrong concept. And that's why we particularly addressed these issues in the current guidelines.
Correct. Okay, so now it's the time for a short break. I have my co-host with me, and he will be interacting with the audience here. Okay, so audience, please be ready. Now we have Yogesh Bhandari, the co-host, who would take on for 5 minutes from you.
And before that, let me just thank Mr. Jay Chhaira for giving us an interesting outlook of his personal journey. Now, this section of the episode is going to be an interactive section. So I want members to participate by putting their video on and gain maximum benefit of the engagements. Request you all to scan the QR code, which is there on your screen, or go to the Chrome and type in slido.com and enter the number reflecting on the screen. Now I will start posting questions and you need to type in the answer. So our very first question is, yeah, type in your name, guys. What's your name? If you have scanned or if you have entered already. I request maximum participation from all the members. So take your phone, type in, start typing. Yes, Piyush is here, Kunal is here. Great going, guys. Ravi, thanks a lot for participating. I need more participation. Everybody present out here need to participate. Yeah, welcome, Geeta. Go on, guys, go on. We need more participation. This is going to be an interactive section, guys. So you will have to participate. Okay, so I'll move on to the next question. Indicate one area of practice in which you believe you are most skilled. With that, I've received your message, but that was on question and answer. Okay, great. So Suresh has previous questions answered. Great. So direct tax audit, internal audit, GST, consulting, a few of those areas where members feel that they are most skilled. So GST and audit is the area where most members are feeling that they are most skilled. Great going, guys. I need more participation. Great going. So now jumping into third question. So which model of practice do you think is most effective? So like we've understood from many aspects that there are many areas where you can practice. You can practice in your individual name. You can practice by merger of 2 or more firms or network firms. What do you think? Which model of practice is the most effective one? Yes, people are participating. So practice as a partnership, LLP, mergers of two or more firm, networking firm. Keep on going, guys. More participation is required. Yes. So network. Okay. There are some people. There are some members who are saying practice in individual name or sole proprietary firm name is also. You can even select multiple options as you think is right. So there is a member who has typed out as sole proprietor firm and now he has taken back that vote. So I believe maximum members think that a network firm is the most effective model of practice. Great going, great. So now we will move on to the next question. In your opinion, what is the probable cause of ICAI network? I won't say failure. It won't working out till now, but it's a growing phase, like sir already explained in his previous session. So what will be the probable cause for ICAI not being successful in the previous years? There has to be some brain scratching. There has to be some. What do you think can be the probable cause for ICAI networking not being so successful in the past? Okay. Exclusion of multinational net. Great. Any other reason? No action by members. Okay. I can resonate myself with you. The one who has typed this out, no action by members. So specialization is one of those probable cause. License of specialist. So this is one and the same of specialization. Great going. Any other answers, guys? Yeah. No action by members. So this is getting amplified. That means a lot of members believe that members are not taking any action for making a network a successful journey. No sharing of work. Okay. Lack of collaboration. Nice. So I think we will move on to the next question now. There has been a very good participation in this part and a lot of value additions given by you guys. Let's move on. My last question for this session, for this particular section, it is, can networking eliminate the concern relating to growth of CA firms? What do you think? Networking can be the reason for growth of a CA firm or no? Or like it doesn't matter? Okay. It doesn't matter for few members. Doesn't matter. There are members who believe that, okay, doesn't matter is the maximum answer that people believe. So growth of a chartered accountant firm will not be much affected by networking is what members believe out here. So this part of the section has been done and I will hand over to Nishchit Shetty for now. Yeah, Nishchit.
Yeah, a great section and lovely participation by the members. The last question was very much interesting. Members still feel, at least the one who's joined here, that it still does not matter to them that whether networking is there or is there not. In the second section, we will move inside the concept of networking, try to understand it more. Maybe then again, when we come back to that question, your opinions would be different. So, Jay sir, There are three models of networking, like I understand here. And the first model is called the alliance model. What is this alliance model of networking? What are the benefits? Why should someone choose the alliance model of networking?
So, Nishchit, what happened? While we were discussing about the networking guidelines, we see, honestly speaking, we want people to go into mergers. Networking is just a precursor to mergers. Now that people are not straight away going to jump into mergers, so you have to get them networks. Now people are not even willing to go into networks because of various reasons, like bank audit, as I said. So for that purpose, we broke up into two part, B1, B2 model, and still people would not go into networking. So we gave one precursor to that, and that is alliance. It is as good as we want them to go into merger, which is marriage, but they would not go. So we wanted them to go into engagement first, that is network, and find out if it is good, then go ahead with merger. But then people are not even willing to come to it. So we said, what to do it now? Let us at least allow them dating. Right? If they don't straight away go into engagement, let us give them maybe live-in relationships or dating or whatever you say, a lighter version. Alliance is nothing but a very lighter version of networking. See, as of now, in these three models, alliance, network lead form model, as well as network traditional model, hardly major differences are there. The starting points of all these three are nearly the same that we have kept, except a few changes, more particularly keeping in mind this particular dilemma of bank audit and CNAG, right? Regarding this particular dilemma, that if I join it and I don't like it, what will I do? So alliances, a first form, is the first form where there is no hard and fast things. Suppose there are 5 young chartered accountants having the proprietorship practice. Now you go and tell them, come and sit together, work together. They are skeptical about it. They are not sure whether they will be in a position to do it or not. They might feel that if we dissolve our identity, come together as a network, and suppose we don't succeed, what will happen to our individual practice? So we say that no. We said no. We will provide them two platforms. Number one, you continue with your individual practice, will not disturb it. For the purpose of bank audit, go ahead with your individual practice and apply under your individual firm name. Similarly, for tendering process, continue with your individual practice, and for all other purposes, continue with your own clients. But at the same time, we are giving you an additional platform where you 5 come together and create an alliance. Maybe once you create an alliance and start meeting over a period of time, maybe first, second, third, fourth meeting, maybe over a period of 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, you will realize with whom you should join into alliance, who is not good for you. You will learn, see, you will learn only at times with your mistakes. So maybe 6 people coming together, one finds that he is not suitable to the alliance, he might move out. Another finds that he has some issues there, he is moving out, 4 are continuing, right? And over a period of time, you will come to know with whom you can actually work. And then you can go to the next step, and that is network. So alliance, I can say, is just an appetizer for the main course known as network. In case of alliance, institute is not going to be very strict. It's not going to ask you many questions. Only simply you go to the institute, inform them through SSP that you are going into alliance. That's it. No major control, no restrictions, no formalities. It is only a platform to come together. Once you come together over a period of some few months, you are more comfortable, then please go to the next step, networking. This was the thought process for alliance.
Wonderful. And alliance is again like very formal because we have to go to this SSP portal and register as a part of an alliance, correct? So there is a network which we are part of. So is there any naming restrictions to that network? Does it?
Well, see, regarding alliance, of course, it is a little more formal. It is not totally informal, a little more formal. We cannot say very formal, but if the institute has to recognize someone, right, help someone, then some entity must be there. and that basic entity is alliance. For that, you have to go to the SSP and apply for alliance, and the way we are getting the FRN, we will get ARN. So you have to give them the options that these are the names you are thinking about. Institute will check whether these names are available. The way firm names are given, right? The same way, within the same framework, ARNs will be given. So it is not actually restrictive, right? See, it's so very natural. You cannot use some total fancy names or names which will resemble some government body or certain undesirable words, right? That you understand in the Names and Emblems Act, whatever is there. Similar is the case with FRN. The same is extended to ARN. No other additional issue. Whatever a chartered accountant is doing in terms of FRN, the same thing he has to do here in terms of ARN. The only benefit is that now after getting ARN, it is formally recognized by ICAI.
So as I understand from your explanation, ARN means that it is specifically allotted a number. So that alliance is recognized by the institute. And also, what about the concerns that you said chartered accountant mostly have, like bank audits and all? How does this play there?
So here, see, there are two things. Now, let us understand if I go by nano. In a traffic area, it can be a good car. Where there is too much of traffic or something, nano can be a better option. Small lanes, right? If you go to highways, then maybe you want a Land Cruiser. Now, you cannot have the benefits of both in a single car. You don't want Land Cruiser at least in a very congested area, and probably you don't want a nano on an expressway, right? So what happens? There are some people who want that 5 firms should come together. Their number of employees should be aggregated for the purpose of bank audit. Their experience should be aggregated, right? Their resources should be aggregated. The number of partners should be aggregated for the purpose of bank audit. Now, suppose if you go for aggregation, then individual benefits should not be available. You cannot have both the things. इसको हम बोलते हैं दूध और दही दोनों में पैर नहीं हो सकते. If you require that you want all the aggregations to be done, then only the network can apply for bank audit. But if you think that no, we want individual bank audits for everyone, then in that case aggregation benefit will not be there. So looking into these aspects, we have come up with network lead form and network traditional. हमें ये समझना होगा. Let us understand this सरल भाषा में समझते हैं. Suppose your practice size is 20 lakhs, my practice size is 20 lakhs. We are 5 such people and we are getting say some X category in bank audit. We all 5 come together and our practice becomes 1 CR. Now suppose because of that from X category we can move to Y or Z category. Let us assume, and if that is beneficial to all of us by way of sharing, then we can go for such networking lead form model, right? We can say aggregators. We can tell aggregators. Then we will not get the individual status, right? But suppose we feel that no. By aggregation we are going to lose our individual bank audits. Then we'll go for the traditional model, where for the purpose of bank audit and tendering, our individual practice will be considered. Then aggregation will not be done. But for all other things, maybe as a network, tomorrow you might choose to provide some consultancy services, some services related to AI, right? How to, augment your profitability or productivity by using AI. Maybe this is the services we are going to provide in future to the client, or maybe certain financial services, financial modeling, or maybe valuation or whatnot. So in such cases, for that purpose, you will get a pooling of all the resources. But for bank audit, you might choose to be individual. So depending upon what is your choice, because we understood that the mindset of chartered accountants is rotating around bank audit, right? So if that is the choice, then we give them both the alternatives. You want to aggregate, come into lead form model. You want individual, come into traditional model. But if you go for aggregation, individual will not be there. If you go for individual, aggregation will not be there. One benefit will be given. The major advantage of alliance or network would be, now put bank audit aside. you coming together, you can explore other avenues, which as of now you are not entering into. So that is the concept. So while we are making alliance model, these aspects have been considered by God.
So then what are the other two models? Like there is a B1 model of networking and there is a B2 model, I suppose. The lead firm and
First, let us understand some features of alliance. Let us just understand.
Okay.
Right? In alliance, firms get dual advantages. You are independent in your practice, right? Whatever you are doing, traditional practice, for that your individual practice continues. You are not going to suffer. For new type of practice, you can come together as an alliance. Now, this is going to be extended for the two models also. That's why I'm first discussing some common features of all these three models. Now, please understand. Once again, I'll give a simple example. You are a cricketer, I am a cricketer, right? But what happens? You might be a bowler and I might be a batsman. I don't know how to bowl, or maybe I'm not good at it. So that is one thing. It is not only that 5 chartered accountants on different fields can come together. That's a wonderful idea. One is into total income tax. He's not looking to other. Another is into GST. He wants to specialize in that only. The third one is only into some, say, company law matters, corporate law matters. Fourth one is into statutory audit. Fifth one is into internal audit. What is happening? As of now, if I'm only into income tax, my existing clients who want everything under a single umbrella will move away from me. Or else, the benefit of the relationship that I have does not become available to me. But suppose if I come with an alliance or network, what will happen? Clients of the person who is looking into income tax, he will get the work, GST work done with another person in the alliance. Maybe statutory audit with another person in the alliance. Like that, you will get the benefit of one another. This will definitely help you. Say I'm only into income tax, other 4 are not into income tax. So I'll get the ready-made clients of other 4 in my income tax. So this is one of the aspects. These are specialization wise. Second aspect, if you look at it, there are some human beings, forget chartered accountants, some human beings who are very extrovert. They can go to the world and they can talk very well, but they don't go into micros. They don't like paperwork. There are some people who always like to sit in the office and work upon it. So now just imagine, you are a chartered accountant, you would like to go and meet people, right? I am a chartered accountant who would like to sit in the office and keep on working. Then probably by way of alliance and network, you will get all the work. You are good at getting the work, not in doing the work. I am good in doing the work, not in getting the work, right? Somebody is good in drafting and presentation. Somebody is good in client relationship management. Somebody is good in PR work with various agencies. Somebody is very good with interpretation. So on that basis also people can come together, right? You are also into income tax. I am also into income tax. But maybe you are very good in dealing with the departmental authorities. I am very good in interpretation and drafting. So the concept that we had is, let us get them together first of all. Now for that purpose, independence was one of the concepts. People did not want to lose the independence. So now in alliance, we are coming together. There is an alliance under which you can get major work or you can get such works which are multi-locational geographically, or maybe such type of works which you are not even imagining, right? But at the same time, your individual practice continues the way it is. So you are not losing anything, right? And gaining something. So up till now, people had some question. What happens if I don't gain in networking? I might lose something. So at least we are telling them, even if you don't gain something, at least you are not going to lose something. We are sure over a bit of time, working with the right network, you will gain. But even if we assume that you are not going to gain, at least you will not lose. You will learn something out of network, right? You will learn how to be a part of team. You will learn the psychology, right, of different people. So in alliance, this is one of the aspects. Regarding code of conduct, the same code of conduct which is applicable today. As of now, there is no change in code of conduct with regards to alliance or network. No change. Maybe over a period of time, institute might come up with 1 or 2 clauses if at all they deem it essential, right? Expedient so to do, then they may come up. Otherwise, the same code of conduct as you have. Display of alliance name on your stationery is permitted. So now let us understand. You have your practice in Mumbai. I have my practice in Surat. Somebody has a practice in Udaipur, right? Now on the letter pad, we'll have a firm name with Surat address this or that. Plus we'll have a network name, and we can say that our offices are there at Udaipur, at Surat, at Mumbai, at Bangalore, and like that. Right? That gives a different impression, and that gives us geographical advantages also. So display is allowed, right? Individual practice is allowed. For empanelment separately, you can go for it. Referral is allowed. This is important. Say for instance, you are in Bangalore and you have very good nexus with the IT industry, right? You can get certain type of work related to cyber issues, related to systems, audit or something, and you are into income tax. So even though you had wonderful relations, you are not getting the benefit of that. Now you will get the work in Bangalore. I might execute that work in Surat and I can give you a referral. So referral is also allowed now. Sharing of fees is allowed. Sharing of cost is allowed. Sharing of infrastructure is allowed. Sharing of knowledge, of course, not only allowed, is welcome. So, you know what happens? You can have common infrastructure. Today, infrastructure cost is heavy. Today, technology cost, software cost, you know, specialized type of softwares and maintenance of that, it's heavy. HR cost, once again, now in India, there is something like HR. Earlier, it was laborers. See, 2-3 decades back, hardly any infrastructure cost, hardly any HR cost, hardly any technology cost. So it was okay. It was okay sitting alone. Today, because of all these things, it is mandatory you come together. Then only you can have that fixed cost apportioned and that cost coming down and you enjoying all these benefits. So anyway, this is how we thought about alliance model. Very easy entry, very easy exit. ICAI will not deal with it, will not interfere with that. If the firm wants to come in, other firms are ready, entry. If the firm wants to exit, exit. ICAI will not ask a question, go to SSP, enter, exit. It is up to the firms to decide, right? They can decide their bylaws. The only thing is that once they come up with the bylaws, which should not contradict, of course, with the Chartered Accountants Act or rules or council guidelines or code of ethics, naturally they should not be in contradiction with that. Once your bylaws are made, you have to just submit your internal agreement to ICAI. So these are some of the common features you find in alliance model, in networking model, both the networking models. So these are some common features.
That brings me on the top of my mind. I have a question. Is it necessary for people being part of a network to work as a network only, or is it in each of these models? Okay, not only alliance model, the B1, B2, or is it that we can practice individually and then also practice in the name of the network?
In all the models, we have allowed them to practice individually also and in the name of network also. So once again, we have ensured that they are not suffering their individual practice. See, what is the fear in doing something new? चलिए मैं कुछ नया कर रहा हूं, मेरा डर क्या है? वो सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ, मेरा जो अभी है वो नहीं जाना चाहिए. नया नहीं आए तो ठीक है, पुराना जाना नहीं चाहिए. So we ensure that please continue with your practice, right? Institute will not disturb you. Institute will not disturb you. It's only when you ultimately go into merger, making huge firms, then the mergers will decide whether individual practice will coexist or not. Generally not, right? But in networks and alliance, yes, you can practice individually. Along with that, you can be a part of network as well as alliance. Both the benefits are available to people the way they want to choose.
And what is the difference between B1 and B2? What is the lead firm thing about? Like, how will that help, or why did that came up as a concept of networking?
Right. So as I said, now this is, I believe it is unfortunate because see, you being a youngster, I can tell you one thing. I hope that many of the people attending this program must be youngsters, or rather those people who attend programs Sincerely, they are always youngsters at any age. So let us understand. See, there are two types of practices. One is to understand. One is government given and another is market driven.
Wow.
Right? By way of data analytics, right? If I can improve profitability of your firm, suppose today you are earning 100 crores, right? Yogesh ji is a good data analytic person, right? He helps you, and from 100 crores, you reach up to 140 crores. Now here Nirmala Sitharaman does not come in between. She does not talk about any deadline. She does not talk about any form. She does not talk about any utility. Right? She does not talk about it. It's totally and totally your intellect. On the basis of that, you help the client from 100 crores to 140 crores. Now this is true value addition without any intervention from government side. So here you will get high fees, huge fees. See, if your client is going to get a benefit of 40 crores, why not? You get something out of it. Maybe 2 crores, 4 crores, whatever. The way you can handle it, right? Now this is market driven. Another is government given, right? To a certain extent, we are at the mercy of the government. GST audit, if the government mandates it, client is coming. If it is not mandated, maybe client is not coming. Maybe, right? So please understand, our focus should always be more and more on market driven. If we focus more and more on what is given by others, say bank audit is, please understand one thing, bank audit is very important. And I'm sure about it. Chartered accountants are very, very, very important for this economy. Look at 2008 crisis across the globe, where US banks melted, right? Along with the global meltdown, the larger banks in US also had a meltdown. There were repercussions across the globe. There was only one country which had the lowest shocks, and that was India. And one of the important aspects is we chartered accountants who did the bank audit very well. So while I agree that bank audit is very important, but what will happen? Tomorrow RBI will come with it. Instead of 90%, 70%, instead of 70%, 30%. So at least we are at the mercy of someone. Now, does it mean RBI is opposed to us? The answer is no. But let us understand, they are looking at this issue in a different way. We are looking at the issue in a different way. Sometimes what we say will persist. Sometimes what they will say will persist. That means bank audit opportunity may increase or may come down. Now with this increasing number of chartered accountants, we know very well that chartered accountants have nearly doubled in the last decade. Have the banks doubled? Definitely not. Rather they have come down. Or with the technology, we don't even know after a few years there will be physical banks or not. Whom are you going to audit? And also we are not sure whether physical buildings will be there or not. I'm sure they will be there. I'm just putting up one simple thing. So one is government given. It is not purely given, we deserve it. But let us put it in a nomenclature. Government given. Another is market driven. So we should focus more and more and more on market driven. Right? That is pure value addition. But unfortunately, there are many chartered accountants who are very much into bank audit. Right? My bank audit, मतलब बैंक ऑडिट करना मेरा जन्म सिद्ध अधिकार है. एक बार उसने सीए फाइनल पास कर दी तो पूरी दुनिया कुछ भी कर ले, बैंक मेरे पास ऑडिट कराने आनी ही चाहिए. कई लोगों को कैसे बिलीव. सो दैट वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. दैट वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. राइट. अब हम समझे, आप, मैं, योगेश जी सब साथ में आ रहे हैं तो बेनिफिट होगा ना हमको. 1 + 1 = 11 बेनिफिट होगा. लेकिन उस बेनिफिट के चक्कर में ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि आपका बैंक ऑडिट अलग था, योगेश जी का अलग था, मेरा अलग था. अब हम 3 की जगह पे 1 ही मिले. सो वी लॉस्ट अ लिटिल इन बैंक ऑडिट. Maybe we lost to the extent of say 5-7 lakhs. But maybe against that, we got other opportunities of 40-50 lakhs. But then somehow हम emotionally इतने ज़्यादा stuck है बैंक ऑडिट्स के साथ कि हम उसको मिस ही नहीं करना चाहते. So everything was rotating around that, and that's why we came up initially with the 2 ways. If you want to continue bank audit in your own firms, go with traditional approach. If you are okay to pull your resources, right, and forego the bank audits firm wise, rather get it on an aggregate basis and a higher level that is bank audit, then go ahead with the lead firm. So as of now, lead firm and traditional model, the major difference is only that in lead firm, the aggregation benefit will be available, while in case of traditional, aggregation will not be there, you will apply individually. These are the starting points. Please to understand, all these three models, as I said earlier also, as of now they are more or less same. Let me say 90% they are same, only 10% difference, right? But what will happen over a period of time when more and more networks, more and more alliance will come up? As of now, they will not come up because the forms were not available. Now it has come on SSP. Now,
Yes, from this month.
so now, once it has come for SSP, and there will be a drive for some 2 years on the institute side at all the branches, then number of networks and alliance will come up. Then we will realize what are the other issues which as of now have not been realized. What are the other problems that they are facing? They will tell the institute. They will provide their opinions. See what happens. When the institute comes with the suggestions of all, at that time nobody is going to respond or very few people are going to respond. But once they are actually into it, when they face problems on their own, they will tell the institute. And then institute will decide that how these three are going to be further differentiated, considering these issues. So the major divide between the two is only one, aggregation versus individual.
Wonderful. Okay, so now we are on to another break. We'll take a short break here. I hope the members gained a lot of understanding about the three models of networking, and surely something might be going on in their mind thinking in this direction. We'll let that be in their mind and let them absorb that. Handing it over for the break to Yogesh Bhandari.
Hello, this is CA Nishchit Shetty, and I'm on a mission to empower chartered accountants.
This is CA Siddharth Dwivedi, and I am also on a mission to empower chartered accountants. Culture is like a pot of gold or nectar. A network with a strong culture is unbeatable. Networks are characterized by the ability to share works amongst partners and will also include these attributes. Action based meetings. Basically, take massive action for your group and walk the talk. Mentorship program. It is important to mentor others. Partnering with other people and being coaches to each other becomes a possibility. Be open to new ideas. Listen to your partner's ideas and use them wherever they seems appropriate. Sharing. Share information to make others succeed.
Networking is a process of building social capital. This is based on social capital theory of the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity states that when people receive something, they feel compelled to return the favor in kind. For example, say someone gives you a referral for the kind of practice that you do. Now you feel indebted to them, and now you want to pay them back by way of a referral in kind. Forms of reciprocity can be: number one, the word of mouth marketing. Number two, brand loyalty. Number three, professional relationships that benefits both. This is the kind of culture that is imbibed in the network. This is the place where exchange happens, where swaha is the food for one and tathastu is what one returns the another. This is the yagya of networking. This yagya is the tool for growth in practice. The network not only fulfills the objective benefits like growth in sales, employee sharing, etc., but also subjective benefits like being part of a stronger group, feeling a sense of expansion, and working on collective efforts to grow. Therefore, at the heart of the network is a culture. The culture is like the pot of gold or nectar, and the gold is sharing of professional work amongst the partners.
If you're already onto that page, that's fine. Or else you can scan and we can start again. So I'll just jump on to the next question. So which model of networking do you think seems best for your practice? Which model of networking seems best for your practice? Is it Reliance model, B1 model, B2 model, or none of the above? Keep on participating, guys. We need maximum participation. The maximum people have voted for Alliance model and thereafter B1 model. There are few members who think that networking is not going to help them build their practice. So now moving on to the next question. What are the areas in which you will seek support for your practice if you become a member of a network firm? So there are multiple things out here. If at all you will become member of any networking group or firm, for which area are you going to seek support for? Great. Okay. Common branding and marketing efforts. Acquiring new clients and common branding and marketing efforts. So both goes for acquiring new clients or similar things. Okay. Common quality control procedure. So moving on to the next question now. Would you consider joining a network firm in the future? If at all there's an offer to you for joining any network firm. Okay, great going. All members are finding it necessary to join a network firm if they are given an option in future. Good going. Come on, guys, more and more participation is required. So depends on many factors. Come on. Okay. So there are members who don't think that they are going to join any network firm too. But maximum of the members are going to join a network firm if at all they are given any opportunity for that. Great going. So with this, our slider session, or particularly this particular section of break where we are asking question is end. We are going to give it to Nishchit for the next part of the section. But before that, I will just mention you that you be ready in the next part. We are going to play some fun sessions. So we are going to ask for members to participate in those fun sections. So be ready to switch on your camera and participate in the game. Handing over to you, Nishchit.
Hello. Yeah, welcome back. So it was good. Like, members are very honest here. Even if they don't want to join, they'll say no. Not being too modest, but that is what we want. And we saw a good response for many people who want to join a network. Cool. So taking a deep dive into networking, there are a few more questions that we would continue upon. First question, sir, would be, how do we register a network? Like, what is the entity for registering? Is it a partnership firm? Is it an LLP? Is it a private limited? Could it be an AOP, BOI? What is it?
As of now, the institute has come up with the concept of AOP. See what happened. I was given a particular group for forming these networking guidelines. We were going to do it in various stages. It was while Atul Kumar Gupta ji was the president. He first came up with a domestic network. And our concept was that let us first make the dynamics of domestic in the next year, let there be how it is going to happen, and in the next year, how international networks are going to work. So while we were discussing, we had number of meetings and discussing with the firms, but let us understand partnership is not going to be possible because partnership firms cannot be partners in partnership firms. That is not possible, right? So at that point of time, AOP seemed to be a better option. That is what was being discussed. But as I remember, thereafter, another group was to be formed to look into the technical aspects as to what is going to be the form. And I don't think that that group has come up with any report. I'm not sure. As of now, I'm not a council member. So I'm not sure whether that group is there or not, whether the meetings of such group is being conducted or not, whether they have come to some consensus or not. But those days, we were discussing that AOP can be a better option. But as I remember, it was only under discussion. Nothing was finalized those days. It was going to be finalized this year.
Perfect. So then the next question would be, are there any limits, like maximum number of members that can be allowed in a network, or minimum must be 2? But what?
As of now, fortunately, there is no limit. See, let me be very honest. The question of limit only will come up when all the chartered accountants also, they are running towards it. As of now, hardly a few are taking initiative even to join an alliance of 4 people. So as of now, there is no limit, and I don't think then in the immediate years, ICAI will even think about the upper ceiling. If in future the scenario is that everybody wants to come into it, and because of that there are some practical difficulties arising, then institute may think about it. No upper limit as of now.
Networks also has to follow certain ethical standards, like but aren't these ethical standards kind of restrictive? Like, I've heard that there is a ethical requirement that if you are handling an audit of one client, you cannot do the internal audit. It's a bit of a question that makes some people uncomfortable. So what is your view about it?
So there are 3 things here. One is regarding code of ethics, second is about restrictive, and third is about the point that you raised about independence. So see, first thing, code of conducts are essential without any doubt. Code of conduct might have some challenges, but without code of conduct, there will be more challenges. Imagine a scene in Mumbai. In Mumbai, the traffic of Mumbai, right? In Mumbai, there are traffic signals with green signal, red signal and all, right? If there is a red signal, you have some inconvenience. Maybe you have to stop at that signal for 2 minutes or 4 minutes or something. But imagine there were no signals and haphazardly people were moving. What would have happened? You would have to wait 30 minutes. So little inconvenience is better than more inconvenience. So please understand, code of conduct is essential. That is 1. 2. Now whether it is restrictive, I also personally believe that with the opening of the economy, with the change in the mindset, it is the time for ICAI to look into it as to what are the changes you want to make in code of conduct. What are those things which are deemed to be restrictive? I think ICAI should ask the members, what is set in code of conduct which you feel is restricting you? And they should collect. And what they may do is, they might not jump into all the changes immediately. But if they ask the members, if the members inform, see, I'll tell you, I'll appreciate you in one way. What you have done in this program, ICAI must now do it. What you did is, what are the benefits you are looking at in network? What A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and maybe others. Similarly, ICAI has to first, once again, tell members that see, code of conducts are essential. They go to the root for any profession. But what are some few aspects of code of conduct where you feel they are restrictive and ICAI should reconsider? So what may happen? Members might inform And it should be a very simple form, maybe a Google form. If it requires half an hour, nobody is going to fill up.
Okay.
We know very well. We know very well. But if it's going to be very simple, at a click of the button, a member can say, then what will happen? ICAI might pick up with the 5 items which are, most recurring. Maybe groups are made, maybe, they discuss about it. Now, whether to change or not, that would depend upon the deliberations, that would depend upon the logic in favor, against, and the global happenings and all. But my point is that if something is restrictive, see, control is not restrictive. At some places you have to control something. In Mumbai, you have a huge sea coast, right? And you are controlling the sea by putting those huge stones, right? And blocks. That is not restrictive. That is just a control. So we have to differentiate what is being controlled, what is restrictive. If something is restrictive and ICAI feels that, yes, this is a bottleneck for our growth of the profession, then they should reconsider. But as of now, when you talk about networking guidelines is very much within the 4 corners of the current code of ethics, because let us understand, a particular group constituted under ICAI cannot ignore the current framework of code of ethics and make something new. They have to be within the 4 corners. So if our ethical standard board changes that framework, I'm sure about it, the networking guidelines will also have such type of changes. And the other third point that you mentioned, if one of the constituent firm of an alliance or network is doing the internal audit, then the other should not do statutory audit. But see, let us understand, independence is the core, right? We know integrity, independence, and competence. These are the 3 pillars on which any profession is there, particularly our profession. Now, we should be independent and we should also make the world see that we are independent. Both the things are important, right? निश्चित यहाँ पे हमें एक चीज समझनी चाहिए, हम अच्छा काम करें, क्लाइंट्स का वैल्यू क्रिएट करें, ये तो इंपॉर्टेंट है, पर दूसरा क्लाइंट्स को ये रियलाइज कराए कि भाई मेरी वजह से तुम्हारी इतनी वैल्यू क्रिएट हुई, ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट, तब हमें फीस मिलेगी. Similarly, being independent, showing the world we are independent is essential. So I don't think this is restrictive. It's very natural. How can, within the same network or alliance, 2 firms, now you treat them as a single entity, they do the internal audit also and statutory audit also. Would it be allowed? What will happen? Would our Indian statements be accepted abroad in that case? We'll have some challenges. We have to look into this particular aspect, that based on our statements, we are going to get the investment from foreign countries. Would they be interested? We don't want some other country to comment that we don't believe in statements signed by Indian chartered accountants. I'm sure we don't. So we would have to follow certain norms which have been globally set. Independence is at the core and we cannot compromise with that. This is the third aspect.
Lovely. I think that was very well answered. Sir, so then moving one step ahead, can networks create certain restrictions for its members? Like apart from what ICAI creates, can networks amongst them decide that these are the bylaws and you cannot go beyond this, you cannot do this, you cannot have your internal practice, individual practice, maybe something like that? Can networks be more, I don't call it restrictive now, but be more controlling than the ICAI?
Right. So, as of now, yes. As of now, yes. Because ICAI says that you can have your internal arrangements, internal agreements. In case of alliance, in case of networks, you can come up. You can have your own restrictions put for entry, for exit, what type of people can come in, what type of people cannot come out, what type of people have to exit. There can be bylaws. But one thing is for sure, these bylaws cannot be, opposed to any of the piece of legislature in India. What is our basic freedom granted by the Constitution, right? That freedom cannot be taken over. You can have bylaws which are essential for protecting the interest, Protective bylaws are important, but purely restrictive might not be desirable. So as of now, they may come up. But as I say, see, as of now, in terms of network, there is only a baby bomb. Once there will be some 400, 500 networks, and such type of issues comes to the limelight of the institute, then institute will come with the version 2.0, 3.0, where they will come out with a list that these are the restrictions which might be there, which are allowed. These are some of the restrictions which you cannot place. You have to allow them playing their own games freely. So maybe, over a period of time, it will come up. As of now, ICAI is not restricting. And I'm sure as of now, even networks and alliances are not putting such type of very stringent conditions. We have not seen as of now.
And as I understand through our talks that network is now an entity, which is an AOP. So how do we bill our clients? Should we always bill it in the name of the network, or should the individual practice be separated? What is the billing structure here?
So as of now, it has been decided as of now. My personal view is that over a period of time, it might be reconsidered. It might be reconsidered. But as of now, billing will be in the name of the individual firms and not networks. Because otherwise, these people will have to, unnecessarily be disturbed with other aspects of income tax. Right? What will happen? The network will get the work. They will have a mutual agreement. Right? Such type of work will be done by this firm. Such type of work will be done. That can be done geographically. That can be done area-wise. Right? Area-wise means area of specialization. And it is the individual firms which will bill. Not network. As of now, this is the understanding.
Got that. And also that brings us to the next kind of question, that what will happen is later on in future, when we form a network, we would be needing some money to run it. So the network will start collecting fees from the members. How does principle of mutuality work here? Is it like okay to collect fees, spend it on the network members? Maybe they go out on do a big marketing for themselves, or create a website, not exactly marketing, but create a website for themselves, or have a place to meet up every now and then. So how will all these things be considered?
This is a very interesting question, of course. Well, we understand the concept of mutuality, particularly from income tax angle, that Chelmsford Club, Bankipur Club, and certain cases which are there for this particular purpose. My personal view is that properly documenting it, you might get the benefits of mutual. Mutuality concept might be there, and then the question of double taxation might not arise. But please do understand, this is not within the domain of ICAI to say, right? ICAI cannot say something, cannot give a verdict on Income Tax Act 1961, right? It is only the authorities of income tax which will look into facts on case-to-case basis. But yes, ICAI can properly suggest, once people are coming into it, it can suggest that if you draft in such a way, then the benefit of mutuality will be there. But whether mutuality benefit will be available or not, one has to look into Income Tax Act, one has to look into GST, right? See, look at the problem we are facing here is your membership fees. A member paying fees to the institute, that also more or less is something like mutuality. Whether GST should be there or not, I have seen too much of debate. And when we approached some very senior lawyers, they were also divided. We know the Indian tax laws, how they are. So I think finally it is only the authorities, and maybe if we go into appeals, the court will decide. But my personal view is that properly drafted, there should not be any challenge in taxation. That is what I believe.
Nice. We get that point, that this depends on case-to-case basis. Maybe what fees are you collecting, what membership fees, why you are applying it, where you are applying it, will all be the questions that will be considered after to get to a conclusion whether it will be taxed or not. But sir, tell us something about the liability side. Like when a member of a network maybe enters into something, into a professional misconduct, or maybe he goofs up with something, would it be a liability to the other network partner members as well? Would it create problems?
So this is a beautiful question, and I'm sure this is something of interest to each and every person, right? So let us understand. We have been very clear in that. First is there should be a proper documentation. See, you are a network. Let us take an example. We five are into network, and we have decided that whatever works come in Mumbai, Nishchit will do. Whatever comes in Surat, I'll do. Whatever comes in Bangalore, Yogesh will do. Everything has been clearly documented which work goes to which person. And a person from that firm will sign it. Somebody will have to sign it. So we have made clear rules to it. Who is going to work upon, who is going to sign. And then of course, even though somebody works, the fees can be shared by others. Why? You can have something like that. The person, say there are 5 constituent firms in network. You might come up like this. The one who gets the work, he'll get 25%. The one who executes the work, say for instance, he gets 55%. And the remaining 20% comes into the pool. And finally at the end of the year, it will be shared on some basis like that. So if some particular firm has executed out of network, right, some particular partner has executed, only he will be liable for the professional misconduct if proper documentation is there and can easily be shown that he is the only person dealing with this. Others are only involved in getting the work, in actually executing the work, and the actual misconduct has been done only by this gentleman. Then institute will only act against that gentleman, not the others. So there is an immunity. There is an immunity to all. So this should not be a matter of concern for others, that maybe 10 people coming together, one is punished, so all the 9 will be into difficulty. No, that is not going to happen. As of now, that is not going to happen, right? We are very clear about it. Have a proper documentation. Only the one who is executing, who is actually involved is misconduct, only that person will be covered by the disciplinary mechanism.
Wonderful. Now, since we are asking questions regarding practically maybe running a network, one other question that comes to my mind is, what about clients? Like, how do we look at in this aspect? Is a consent of client required before you enter a network, exit a network, while you're doing it with being a part of the network? Is it like working differently? What does institute say? How do we handle clients, and how do we inform them while we are being part of a network or not being part?
That is another very good question. I had a number of part of programs on networking, but this question has come up first time. Others were repetitive. This has come up first time. So I personally feel that we should communicate to the clients in a very positive way that we are a network, we are a single network, right? And under this network, we are getting all the works. When it comes to execution, we have various constituent units, right? And each unit is specialized in something, right? And this matter will be taken care of by this unit. Something like that should go to the client, so that tomorrow he does not come back to us. I gave you in the name of network, you did it there, or this or that. So if you are very clear about it, that we are a single network, but we have to tell them now a beautiful draft is to be created. Even in partnership firm, 8 partners are there. You get the work in the name of firm, but then one partner does it.
Correct.
One partner does it, maybe, right? And the client is okay with that. Similarly, this is an extension of partnership. We have to inform in such a way that it's a huge umbrella. Network has been created for your advantage. Please understand, whenever you communicate, show to the other person his advantage. What are his advantages? Advantage number one, we are multi-locational. So if tomorrow you are expanding your business in India, you will not have to search for other firms. You don't have to keep on running. at a single point will take care of your entire Indian requirements or even abroad. Is he not happy with that single point contact? One. Two, we can say that by coming to our network, see what happens. Network means more people, right? We are not, you played the clip from that movie Mashal in the beginning, right? 1983, Mashal. So somewhere in 1975, there was Amar Akbar Anthony. Amar Akbar Anthony में वो विनोद खन्ना वो हार्प भी बजा रहा है, राइट? नीचे ड्रम भी बजा रहा है पैर से. तो हम क्लाइंट को बोल सके कि भाई आपको ऐसा नहीं होगा कि एक ही आदमी ड्रम भी बजाए, पियानो भी बजाए, सब कुछ बजाए. वी आर अ वेरी गुड नेटवर्क, सो वी आर स्पेशलिस्ट. हमारे में से ये इनकम टैक्स का स्पेशलिस्ट है, हमारे में से ये. सो मे बी यू नो सेपरेट मेल कैन बी बिफोर गेटिंग द वर्क. व्हाई नॉट अ ब्यूटीफुली ड्राफ्टेड मेल गोज टू अ क्लाइंट कि बॉस ये हमारा नेटवर्क है, हमारी लोकेशन से मल्टी लोकेशन का बेनिफिट है, प्लस मल्टी स्पेशलाइजेशन का बेनिफिट है, राइट? बिकॉज दिस जेंटलमैन इज ओनली इन्वॉल्व्ड इनटू इनकम टैक्स, वो एक्सीलेंट है इसमें. दिस जेंटलमैन इज ओनली इनटू इंटरनल ऑडिट, वो एक्सीलेंट है इसमें, राइट? सो क्लाइंट के दूसरा बेनिफिट हो गया. थर्ड बेनिफिट, बिकॉज यू हैव कम टुगेदर, आवर फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट इज बीइंग शेयर्ड, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कॉस्ट, technology cost, HR cost, so we'll be more cost effective for you. Will be more cost effective for you. Fourth, because you are a single network, think about it. आपको 4 अलग-अलग जगह पे जाना होता है 4 सर्विसेज के लिए, तो एक जगह की इंफॉर्मेशन दूसरी जगह तक पहुंचाने में आपके नाक में दम आ जाता है. अब हम लोग अंदर ही शेयर कर देंगे, राइट? अगर हम अपने क्लाइंट्स को पहले ही बता सकें एंड देन वी से दैट कि आपका जो काम जिस चीज का होगा, हमारे नेटवर्क की कंस्टिट्यूएंट फर्म जो उस चीज में स्पेशलाइज्ड होगी वो एग्जीक्यूट करेगी. अगर हम पहले से क्लैरिटी करते हैं, आई डोंट थिंक देयर शुड बी एनी चैलेंज इन दैट. अ प्रॉपर कम्युनिकेशन इज एसेंशियल.
Wonderful. A proper communication plus a communication that communicates कि उनको क्या benefits मिलने वाले हैं हमारे इस individual network के वजह से is a great way to go ahead with communicating things with your.
I'll give an example. Somehow you must have communicated to other members कि भाई संडे को आप इस प्रोग्राम में आओगे, आपको बेनिफिट होंगे. अगर ये कम्युनिकेट नहीं करे तो संडे को कोई नहीं आता.
कोई नहीं.
So देखो, everything lies in communication. जब सामने वाले को कहीं बेनिफिट दिखेगा तभी वो जुड़ता है. ये तो नेचुरल लॉ है.
Yes.
राइट? आपने शुरुआत में वो 20 बताई, 20 का पिक्चर. भाई जब उनको बेनिफिट दिखेगा फ्लावर्स में से कि इसका नेक्टर ले सकते हैं, तभी वो इंटरेस्ट होती है. तो आपको फ्लावर तो दिखाने पड़ेंगे ना. Then bees will come. Simple.
Also, okay, so we have one more section for the day today. This will be the last question on the part of networking. We will be taking up questions from the audience as well, be addressing their concerns as well in the last part. The last question is, एक नेटवर्क अब वो बन गया, उसने अपने नाम पे एसेट्स भी वो ले सकता है. If people come together, they take assets in their own name. अब मेंबर्स के बीच में इसके ओनरशिप स्ट्रक्चर और ये सब को लेकर भी तो कंफ्यूजन होगा.
डेफिनेटली होगा. इट इज नॉट दैट मच डिजायरेबल. इट इज नॉट दैट मच डिजायरेबल टू ओन एसेट्स इन द नेम ऑफ नेटवर्क, rather on some other basis, on firms basis only one should venture into it. But आपका point बहुत ही valid है. See, 4 people are coming together and purchasing an asset. तो possible है कि दस्तावेज करा के चारों चार के नाम डाले जाए rather than network. But 400 हो तो, and it might not be that possible. So in that case, जब बड़े networks grow होंगे, ICAI will once again have to look into it, how to go ahead. But not only ICAI can serve the purpose, because the law which are there in the country has to be considered. My personal view is that one should not go into such huge assets, material assets, that tomorrow बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा एंट्री और एग्जिट दोनों. If you have material assets and a new firm is coming up, then you have to revalue your assets every time, and then the negotiation starts. ये asset की वैल्यू 3 करोड़ है, आप बोलेंगे नहीं 5 करोड़ है, right? And exit के वक्त भी वापस वही प्रॉब्लम आएगा. So imagine if 400 firms come together. Just an hypothetical example. क्योंकि बड़ी जब बनेगी तभी एक बिग 4, बिग 5, बिग 7 इंडिया की बनेगी, ठीक है। सो अब 400 बनेगी तो 40 आएगी भी और जाएगी भी अलग अलग टाइप. It will be very difficult for entry, exit, and all these things valuation. So my personal view is that some common assets would be required, right? If they are physical assets, will be let out. Some technological assets might be okay, but material asset अभी तो नहीं खरीदना चाहिए. आप पहले 2-3 साल साथ में आके देखो तो सही. देखो, I should not say this on this platform, but एक तरह से मैं यूं कहूंगा कि यार शादी करो आज के जमाने बदल चुके हैं. इसलिए इंटरेस्टिंग यू नो व्हाट, इंडिया इज अ कंट्री जहां पे शादी का वर्ड है, डिवोर्स का कोई वर्ड नहीं है इंडियन लैंग्वेज में. तलाक इज नॉट एन इंडियन वर्ड, डिवोर्स इज नॉट एन इंडियन वर्ड. आपके पास हिंदी में कोई वर्ड है तो बताओ, नहीं है. तो
इंटरेस्टिंगली फर्स्ट टाइम सोचा और नहीं भी मिला.
इंडिया इज अ डिफरेंट कंट्री, राइट. तो फिर भी क्या पता है, आज के जमाने में चीजें बदल रही है, जॉइंट फैमिली से सब चीजें बदल रही है. तो आज कम से कम एक यंगस्टर को हम कहते हैं कि भाई शादी करे ना, उसके पहले 3 साल तक बच्चा मत पैदा करना. क्यों? बाई चांस तुम दोनों में कोई कंफ्लिक्ट हो तो एटलीस्ट क्या है, किसी बच्चे को प्रॉब्लम ना हो, राइट. तो अभी हम यही कहेंगे कि भाई नेटवर्क बनाओ, ये करो, 3 साल तक ऐसी एसेट मत खरीदना, क्योंकि क्या पता आपका नेटवर्क कैसे चलेगा, अलायंस कैसे चलेगा, आपका टेम्परामेंट मैच होता है कि नहीं होता है, राइट. पहले बनाओ तो सही, ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम हम सोचेंगे वो इन्वेस्ट करे कि नहीं करे. एंड बाय दैट टाइम आई थिंक ICAI आल्सो सी इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ नंबर. आप नियम तभी बनाओगे जब ज्यादा नेटवर्क आएंगे, अदरवाइज आप कच्चा कच्चा ही बनाओगे. किसी एक लोकेलिटी में 50 लोग रहते हैं तो आप पक्का रोड नहीं बनाते. 5,000 रहते तो पक्का रोड बनता है, और 50,000 रहते तो फ्लाईओवर भी बनता है, और 5 लाख होता है तो मेट्रो भी बनता है. तो इंस्टीट्यूट भी तो ऐसे कहते कहते डेवलप करेगी. बट एज ऑफ नाउ इमीडिएटली मटेरियल एसेट नहीं लेनी चाहिए.
Wonderful, wonderful. So that brings us to the end of this section. We'll take up a small break. After that, we have the favorite part of the show, that is the games. We will have open networking available up for you guys. So please stay tuned. We'll go for a quick break, take up questions. Yogesh Bhandari, the co-host here, will take up.
We have left earlier, so you can take your mobile phone or any devices that you have, you can scan it up and you can start again, get going. So I'll just start posting new questions. So do you think collaboration via any networking model can lead to a growth of chartered accountants? So members feel that collaboration via networking model can lead to the growth of chartered accountants. I mean, in this part of okay. Come on, guys, participate. More and more participation is encouraged. Okay. So I'll move on to the next question now. In a networking model, will the independence and authority of individual members be affected? Okay. Come on, guys, we need more participation. I request everyone to participate. We are learning about networking, guys. So it can happen more and more once we participate into any initiatives being done. I guess that's it from this section, this slide. I'll move on to the next question now. So in your opinion, will you be required to specialize in any area once you are a part of a network firm? What do you think? You'll have to specialize in some area, or you can still run your journal or traditional general practice? Like, where you're doing everything all at once. So many members feel that they have to specialize. They will have to specialize once they will become part of any network. So this is like a whitewash answer given by everyone that specialization has to be done once they are a part of network. Great. Now I'll take you to the last section, but I will stop the slide sharing. So here you just have to rate this episode. How do you think on the scale of 10 to 1, 10 being the good or the best and 1 being the worst? So on the scale of 1 to 10, you can just rate this particular part. Okay. I guess I can show you guys also. So this isn't much of problem. So many people have rated it as 9 and many people have rated it as 10. So great. Thanks a lot. And that's it from my side. I will hand it over to Nishchit for the last and most engaging section. Nishchit, handing over to you.
There's some questions in the chat box. I saw a few.
Right. Okay, fine. So I'll take that questions too. So Jay sir, there are questions related to can statutory auditor under Companies Act, can statutory audit under Companies Act be signed using ARN? Like, I guess this is related to alliance model or?
Yeah. So I think I have been clear on that. See, you can discuss with your clients, you can showcase your alliance and get the work, but ultimately the work will be executed by a constituent firm. So sign will be done by some partner of a particular firm representing the firm and not by using any ARN.
Okay. Or under any other model, do you think like will that be workable?
Same. Under all the models, you will get the work showcasing your network, but being very clear that ultimately it is a particular constituent firm of that network or alliance which will work and sign.
Okay. So next question is the alliance is open for industry CA? Like I think they can join just for consultancy, non-attestation functions.
Well, this is another beautiful question. I must compliment the person who has asked it, because for one long year I have been handling this particular issue. Nobody asked this beautiful question. My personal view is that yes, why should there be any bar in somebody joining such type of things? He is not actually practicing. A person can always join the network. And if somebody is an industry member, is not going for attestation functions and doing something otherwise, I think there should not be any problem. ICAI has not deliberated on this. Let me be very honest about it. As I say, 21 plus 4 plus 3, 28 long meetings and 3 council meetings. We have not deliberated upon this thing. Nobody brought this to our light. This was the first time I am realizing this. But my personal view is that yes, why not our industry member can come to it, right? If it is regarding audit or something like that, which requires a COP, in that particular aspect, he cannot come. But when it comes to knowledge sharing, when it comes to maybe such type of consultancy, why not? He can come. I personally believe that we should allow it. But I think for this one, I would rather suggest writing it to ICAI and getting a clear response, because this was never envisaged.
Okay. And another question from Ravi Jain ji is fees for making alliance. Does all members will require to pay dual membership fee for all the individual practice as well as this alliance?
No, it is all up to alliance and network whether to collect any fees or not, give some nominal fees or not. ICAI does not talk about any additional fees regarding that, right? No additional fees is required.
Okay. And last question from Rahul Nagda, it is still networking among domestic firm is allowed. What is your thoughts on networking with foreign firms or groups when it will be possible, considering global already operating in India?
Well, see, this gentleman has asked my opinion, so I'll tell you. In my opinion, we are too late. In my opinion, you are too late because networking guidelines was given to me on the day when COVID entered into India. And it has been now nearly, I think, 2.5 years. Nearly 2.5 years or 2 years, I'm not sure. So the project was given to me and I'll exactly use the words of the president. प्रेसिडेंट दिल्ली से उन्होंने मुझे कहा भाई ये मैं आपको काम दे रहा हूं, 10 साल से कोशिश कर रहे हैं, कहीं ना कहीं सफलता मिल नहीं रही है और सब अलग अलग तरह के लोग होते हैं, कहीं कुछ इंटरेस्टेड, किसी के वेस्टेड इंटरेस्ट, कोई पॉजिटिव कोई नेगेटिव, काम आगे चल नहीं रहा है, आपको एकदम टफ बन के इसको किसी भी तरह से निकालना होगा। आई टोल्ड द प्रेसिडेंट सर कुछ भी हो जाए मैं तो क्लियर करके ही छोड़ूंगा। सो एवरी वीक वी हैड अ मीटिंग। हैविंग अ मीटिंग एवरी वीक इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क। आपके मेंबर्स आए, अटेंड करे, राइट? सो एट दैट पॉइंट प्रेसिडेंट सेड दैट इस साल हम सिर्फ नेटवर्किंग का बना देते हैं, नेक्स्ट ईयर फॉर्म अपलोड कर लेंगे वेबसाइट पे प्लस इंटरनेशनल बना देंगे। नाउ अनफॉर्चुनेटली I was not a part of the international one, so I am not sure what happened to it. What happened to it? Domestic मेरे पास था और टारगेट ये था कि डोमेस्टिक के इमीडिएट नेक्स्ट ईयर इंटरनेशनल आ जाना चाहिए। सी देयर वाज अ रीजन। अगर हम सब कुछ इंटरनेशनल शुरुआत में करना चाहते हैं तो डोमेस्टिक भी नहीं होता। सी देयर आर सम इंटरनेशनल प्रेशर्स आल्सो, सो वी थॉट ऑन अ सेफर साइड पहले डोमेस्टिक तो क्लियर कर लो, एक बार वो क्लियर हो जाए नेक्स्ट ईयर इंटरनेशनल में जाएंगे। My personal view is that international networking should be allowed immediately. The institute should start working on it and look at the beauty. कोविड के साइड इफेक्ट ये देखते हैं सर। कोविड के साइड इफेक्ट ये योगेश जी कि आप और मैं आज से 3 साल पहले भी जूम था, राइट? ये गूगल मीट और सब कुछ था, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का भी जो था वो था, पर हम यूज नहीं करते थे, हम बहानेबाजी करते थे, आप भी और मैं भी। क्या मजा नहीं आता इसमें, मजा आता इसमें। दिस इज नॉट गुड। सम फ्यू थिंग्स आर गुड एंड एक्सेप्टेड अंडर कंपल्शन ओनली, राइट? तो अब एक ब्यूटीफुल बात समझे, ग्लोबली बिकॉज ऑफ दिस टेक्नोलॉजी अब लोगों ने एक्सेप्ट कर लिया वर्क फ्रॉम होम का कंसेप्ट या रिमोट वर्क लोकेशन एक्सेप्ट कर लिया। नाउ टेल मी, फॉर आईटी इंडस्ट्री द एंटायर ग्लोब इज लुकिंग एट इंडिया। नेक्स्ट ऐसी कौन सी इंडस्ट्री है जो इस तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी से हो सकती है? अकाउंटिंग एंड फिनेंस, आपकी और मेरी, मतलब पूरा ग्लोबल वर्क कहीं फ्लो हो सकता है। अब फ्लो होगा तो दुनिया के कौन से देश में होगा? 2 ही देश है, इंडिया एंड चाइना। अब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग होता तो हम बहस कर लेते, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग अकाउंट से बहस करने जैसा है क्या? इंडिया वर्सेस चाइना, नो चांस अबाउट इट। इंडिया 101% हैज एन अपर हैंड, 101%. So somehow if we can start getting, शुरुआत हो गई ना, शुरुआत, तो हमारी एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंट्स फर्म को जो बेनिफिट होगा, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग। शुरुआत कैसे होती है? आईटी सेक्टर में कोई पहले से तो इन्फोसिस नहीं थी, सम पीपल केम टुगेदर, स्मॉल स्टार्ट किया, यूएस की फर्म ने छोटा काम दिया, दे चेक्ड आवर कैपेबिलिटीज, अरे यार ये तो कैपेबल है, ये तो डिलीवर करते, थोड़ा और बड़ा काम दिया तो आपने 100 एम्प्लॉइज रखे, फिर और बड़े काम आए आपने 1000 एम्प्लॉइज रखे। अब क्या हो गया? आप बड़े हो गए तो छोटे छोटे काम लेना आपने बंद कर दिया, तो दूसरी फर्म मार्केट में आई, राइट? धीरे धीरे वो बड़ी हो गई तो तीसरी आई। ऐसे करते 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 वी नो सर्दर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया कैसे डेवलप हो गया है इन टर्म्स ऑफ सॉफ्टवेयर, और आजकल इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिल्म इंडस्ट्री ऑल्सो। बहुत साउथ की मूवी हम देख रहे हैं। सो एनीवे, सो लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड, बिल्कुल इसी मॉडल पे किसी तरह से यूएस की 100 बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी का काम एक बार इंडिया में लाना है। फर्क ये नहीं पड़ता कि निश्चित वो काम करता है या योगेश करता है, फर्क सिर्फ ये पड़ता है कि द मोमेंट बाहर की कंट्रीज को पता चल जाएगा इंडियंस आर एक्सीलेंट इन फिनेंस एंड अकाउंट्स, सेकंड दे कैन वर्क लाइक एनीथिंग, दे आर वेरी एक्यूरेट एंड रिलायबल, बस फिर बाकी की फॉर्म्स आएगी। और जब आएगी ना, यकीन मानिए हम में से कोई चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट फ्री नहीं बैठने वाला। सी इफ यू वांट टू ग्रो देयर आर 2 ways। मैनेजमेंट में हम कहते हैं इंक्रीज द साइज ऑफ द मार्केट और इंक्रीज योर शेयर। आज तक हम शेयर बढ़ाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, शेयर, इनका काम मैं ले लूंगा, मेरा काम वो ले लेंगे। साइज बढ़ जाए ना तो क्या मजा आ जाए, साइज बढ़ाना है हमको। सो आई एम श्योर अबाउट इट, इंटरनेशनल होना ही चाहिए नेटवर्किंग। उसका बेनिफिट सबसे ज्यादा लॉन्ग रन में इंडिया को, सबसे ज्यादा। एक बार इंडियन की आदत फॉरेनर्स को पड़ गई, छूटेगी नहीं। जो बात हम में है वो है। मैं ऐसा नहीं कहूंगा दूसरी कंट्रीज में नहीं है, आई वुड नॉट ट्राई टू कंपेयर दैट वे, बट जो हम में है वो है। अब आपने स्टार्ट बॉलीवुड से किया, तो मैं भी कहूं, वो बॉलीवुड में एक गाना था, वो था, दौड़ रहा है साथ लहू के, प्यार तेरा नस नस में, ना कुछ तेरे बस में जूली, ना कुछ मेरे बस में। तो हम इंडियंस के ना खून में दौड़ता है अकाउंट्स, एनालिसिस जो है ना वो हमारे अंदर है। एंड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स के बारे में कुछ बोलने की जरूरत है क्या? राइट, वो जितनी मेहनत कर सकते हैं, वो जो एनालाइज कर सकते हैं, बहुत मजे पड़ जाएंगे अगर बाहर का काम आया तो आई एम श्योर अबाउट इट। मेरा पर्सनल व्यू बोले तो सिर्फ फॉरेन गाइडलाइंस नहीं बननी चाहिए, कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिलके, कुछ भी कर, और 100 यूएस की फर्म्स का एक बार इंडिया में काम ले आओ बस, फिर देखो एक्सपोनेंशियली कैसे ग्रो होते हैं, लाइक आईटी इंडस्ट्री। यस,
Yeah, that's it from my side. I guess Nishchit, you can take it forward from you.
Yeah, this is the favorite segment. क्योंकि आज नेटवर्किंग पे सेशन था, मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूंगा सारे हमारे अटेंडीज को यहाँ पे कि आप प्लीज अपने वीडियोस पे आ जाइए ताकि हम पार्टिसिपेट कर सकें। चलो देखते हैं कौन नेटवर्किंग के लिए रेडी है। हम इसको क्विकली फिनिश कर देंगे। आप प्लीज मेरी रिक्वेस्ट पे एक बार अपने वीडियोस पे आ जाइए, एक इंटरेक्शन करते हैं सीए जय छारिया से। और कम अप, ग्रेट। I know this may be discomforting. I know everything about it. But कभी तो आना था यार। Come on, yes. स्टार्टिंग वाला मीम याद आ गया, अरे भाई कोई है? Great. Lot of people coming up. So we'll play a quick game. Will not take much of the speaker's time as well. The game is called True Truth One Lie. ठीक है, दो सच एक झूठ, और झूठ पकड़ने के लिए हमारे पास जय छारिया जी। ओके, तो जो भी वीडियोस पे आए हैं, जो भी पार्टिसिपेट करने के लिए रेडी है, वो बड़ा नेटवर्क बनाने का सपना भी देख रहा है। आज बताइए दो झूठ, दो सच एक झूठ अपने बारे में, और देखते हैं जय छारिया जी पकड़ पाते हैं कि। ठीक है, यू कैन गिव अ क्विक इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ योरसेल्फ, गिव योर नेम, गिव व्हाट यू डू, एंड देन गिव अप टू ट्रूथ वन लाई। इज इट क्लियर? इट्स क्वाइट अ सिंपल गेम एंड इट विल ओपन अप यू फॉर नेटवर्किंग। विल गो फर्स्ट। चलो सब अपने आप को अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं। सोचिए, कुछ ऐसा ढूंढिए कि नहीं पकड़ पाए सर।
So to start it off, I can participate first so that other people will get a grasp of what actually we are doing out here.
Very energetic. Come on.
So fine. So there are two truths and one lie about me. The number one is I ran 17 kilometers every day between Malad to Mira Road for approximately 30 days. Number two is I've written a book on how to create your vision. And number three is I failed in five subjects in my FYJC examinations. So in these three options, there are two truths and one lie.
I know him. He's cleared.
लास्ट वाला लग रहा है कि झूठ है, 5 सब्जेक्ट वाला।
सर वो सच है। झूठी है कि मैंने बुक लिखा हाउ टू क्रिएट विजन पे।
वंडरफुल। तो जय सर नहीं पकड़ पाए हमारा। So well, then it's time to wrap up the show. Before we wrap up, we follow the tradition that we usually have in our study circle is to give a formal vote of thanks. So may I request Siddharth Dwivedi here to come forward and present small vote of thanks for Jay sir.
Hello. Audible?
Yes, Siddharth.
Yeah, thank you, Nishchit. जैसा सर ने बोला जो बात हम में है वो तो है ही. It was enlightening to hear you, sir. You have answered each and every questions. Rather, I will say queries, general queries, which every batters, bowlers, and even you have taken example correlated it with the Amar Akbar Anthony. So what I understand that you cannot be jack of all trades in present scenario. Sir, I am sure that each and every members would get benefited from this episode. I would like to thank each and every member present over here. Thank you each and everyone for being part of the episode 2.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Jay sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. So I hope you had a great time.
So I'm ending this meeting.
Thank you. Bye-bye.